Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. And today, as you can see, I'm still continuing my Disney movie marathon where I'll be talking about the movies, of course, TV shows, you have it. If it's related to Disney in any shape or form, then yes, I'll be talking about. So, okay, I felt that maybe I should talk about Star Wars again here because it's Disney referring to. So, of course, I have to talk about Star Wars. So, here we are, I guess. Yes, I'm going to be talking about Matt Walsh, which, okay, whom I haven't really spoken about in a good while. And yes, just like everyone else, he's going to shit on Star Wars. Again. Because, according to him, if it's diversity, it's suddenly, automatically, it's going to be a failure. That's a flat out lie, but okay. I mean, don't get me wrong, folks. Yes, I know there was bad representation, which I mentioned before. But, of course, he's going to be one of these individuals who believes just the fact that you show a diverse cast of characters in a story, ultimately, it doesn't really matter if it's Star Wars or what have you. It could be Star Trek, it could be literally whatever. Just the fact said story has diversity, as far as he's concerned, it's automatically a failure, which, of course, is an absurd thought. And to be more exact, he's referring to this Star Wars TV show which just came out, which, yes, I do realize is already receiving so many bad reviews. I've already finished watching it, and Air Force and I finished watching it not that long ago, so I can always post a video for that later, I suppose. But anyway, nevertheless, I just want to talk about his response to this show to be a bit more specific. And of course, he's acting as if that, oh, just because they're being inclusive, they're trying to act, the people who are being inclusive are trying to act as if that the American flag is a symbolism of being bullies. I, I don't know who said that, but I never said that. The LGBT people in computer I was hanging out with, they never said that. So who is he talking about exactly? This is what you call a straw man argument. It's a fallacy in itself because he's intentionally misrepresenting his opponent's argument just to make them look bad. So, okay, he's not doing this because there's some actual constructive criticism. No, no, no. He's doing this just because having diversity bothers him. That's it. That in itself is a biased agenda right there. But then he complains about Disney having an agenda just for being inclusive. So he's again lying. Okay, but by doing this alone, he's invalidating his own argument. Yes, being biased would go against whatever you're trying to say here. Like whatever constructive criticism you have for the show is not being thrown in here whatsoever. Just oh no, being inclusive, how dare you? All right then. With that being said, let's just get into it. I guess it's already stupid, but here we go.
Today, the Matt Walsh Show, Disney has released its gayest Star Wars show yet. That's a quote. They have apparently learned nothing from their string of failures over the past.
Frozen 1 was successful, Frozen 2 was successful, Moana was successful, Encanto was successful, Coco was successful, just to name a few. These had diverse casts of characters, and yes, I'm counting Frozen because those characters are Norwegian. So, of course, again, you're just belittling the company because, oh no, gay people exist in the world. Oh my god. It's a form of gaslighting, by the way, in case you're wondering. All right, little boy. Since you don't learn, clearly don't do your research. Mulan came out in '98, and that became one of the biggest successes of Disney, and that had a drag king in it. So,
Past several years. Also, a DEI trainer has declared that the American flag itself is a symbol of hate and extremism.
Again, literally, he was saying that. You can't say, oh, everybody's just supporting diversity saying that. That's a flat out lie again. Again, with the strongman argument. That's what this is. It's a form of gaslighting, trying to make it as if the individual who is disagreeing with them is a crazy person. Oh boy. Okay, again, there's literally nothing to back this up whatsoever, at all.
A remote tribe in the Amazon finally gets an internet connection. Now the tribe is addicted to porn and social media.
That's also not a thing because you're glancing over a lot of details, but okay. And what does this have to do with Star Wars anyway? I don't get it. Ugh.
Talk about all that and more today on The Matt Walsh Show. Balance of Nature fruits and veggies is the most convenient way to get whole fruits and vegetables daily. They use an advanced cold vacuum process that encapsulates fruits and vegetables into whole food supplements without sacrificing their natural. It's no secret that Disney isn't doing well lately. They just
There you go again with the line. Because if you actually done your research, which you clearly didn't whatsoever, because come to think about it, one of the biggest hits is, of course, Inside Out 2. And yes, that did throw a reference to the LGBT plus community. And yes, that's in the movie. In other words, how can you be claiming that, oh yeah, everyone else is lying except you? That doesn't make any sense. You're intentionally misrepresenting this entire thing. Again. Ugh.
off nearly 15% of the workforce at Pixar, their movie studio that used to produce guaranteed hits, but Pixar's recent films, Elemental and Lightyear, were bombs, and the division hasn't turned a profit in more than 2 years. People just didn't go for the strained interracial immigrant metaphor in Elemental.
Again, what the hell are you talking about? What's wrong with having interracial stuff going on? You acting as if that this was the only time that this has happened, which it clearly wasn't. Okay, Brandy's Cinderella had an interracial thing going on within that movie, and a lot of people actually praised it for that film. You don't seem to be bringing this up whatsoever. Again, this is nothing new. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's nothing new. This was done before Star Wars was in Disney.
Or the same-sex kiss in Lightyear, or the kind of rehashed, stale vibe of both projects. Additionally, Disney's much-touted, fully immersive Star Wars hotel called the Galactic Star Cruiser shut down late last year after operating for less than 2 years. Disney had spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the project, apparently on the theory that people cared so much about the Star Wars brand that they'd be willing to spend thousands of dollars for the privilege of staying 2 nights in a windowless concrete building posing as a spaceship. That didn't pan out. Apparently, people aren't excited to stay in a hotel where the experience is seemingly designed to be as aggressively unpleasant as possible.
Oh, they're being so aggressive. They're being so aggressive. They're being really aggressive with this attitude. What are you talking about? Do you have any proof to back this up? You act as if that just because someone is aggressive, they're going to be so in your face about it. If there's anybody that's doing that, it's people like you. So if anything, this entire thing also comes off you just projecting your own attitude into this argument here, which again does not help your cause. It does the exact opposite, but sure.
That same quarter, Disney's streaming service, Disney Plus, reported a loss of more than 1 million subscribers. That's not even getting into the Disney's decision to get involved in Florida politics on the side of activist teachers who want to talk to kindergartners about gender identity and sexual orientation. Faced with this brand collapse, Disney had 2 options. One option was to retool their content to focus on entertainment and family values instead of activism, which is what Disney used to do when it was a universally beloved and much more financially successful company. They could get back to their roots, in other words.
Past. I missed the past. Oh no, I missed the past. The past. That's all I hear from these people. All you really want is the past to be back. Ugh, Christ, this whole thing with nostalgia. I'm already having my issue with nostalgia as it is. And that's what you want. What worked back then may not work now. Logic? What's that? I see no logic here whatsoever, because if they had it their way, things would just get boring after a while. And that's what happened. Disney was failing for a good while, which is why they had to team up with Pixar. But anyway, that aside, they have to eventually change a lot of their stuff to begin with, because can't just stay one way forever. If anything, you shoot yourself in the foot. People will get tired of this kind of a thing. Just move on.
And not in the sense of churning out more remakes, but in the sense of being a company that makes wholesome family films that capture a real sense of wonder and imagination. But the other option was to keep doing exactly what they've been doing and continue to shove the same agenda, the equity, representation.
What agenda? Really? What agenda? You're just making stuff up again. There is no agenda.
LGBTQ approach that they've been pushing for years now. Well, 8 months ago, Disney CEO Bob Iger publicly pledged to pursue the first option. He declared that Disney would refocus its efforts on entertainment, not political messaging. That was the plan, or at least the plan that was shared with the public. But that's not what has happened. Disney, over the past 8 months, has apparently decided to double down on agenda
Here's a list of stuff that I'm tired of as a Star Wars fan. I'm tired of explaining to people with a working set of eyeballs how Rey was able to beat up a injured, grieving, emotionally unstable Kylo Ren. If you can't fathom how all of that affects the outcome of a fight and it's been about 10 years, quite honestly, you shouldn't be engaging with any media more complicated than Cat in the Hat. I'm tired of explaining to people that the lore changes that you are mad about today 9 times out of 10 either existed in Legends or exist in the Clone Wars animated show. Meaning that most of the things that you point to as Disney ruining the franchise either existed previously in EU canon or was already signed off by George Lucas in the Clone Wars.
Driven content to the point that they're now openly attacking their own fans. It's a remarkable turn of events, and it's one that's worth discussing because this development is not unique to Disney. And it suggests that wokeness, as we call it, may not be the best way to describe what we're seeing at Disney and other major corporations like it. And certainly, that's part of what we're seeing, but there's something else going on here as well.
I'm tired of explaining that casting is not part of some secret agenda to brainwash you. I read a comment the other day saying Star Wars just makes girl boss content despite the fact that Andor, Kenobi, and The Bad Batch were all male-dominated shows.
It looks a lot like corporate mediocrity run amok, the private sector version of what we see across the public sector bureaucracy. Unimpressive people with impressive sounding credentials who check the right demographic boxes are taking the helm of businesses and products that they don't understand. They've insinuated themselves into these companies like a cancer that's evidently impossible to remove. And even when the company CEO publicly tells them one thing, they're free to do another. Now, to get a better idea of...
And finally, I'm tired of explaining to people that Star Wars is for everyone who is interested in Star Wars. That all being said, I will keep addressing this stuff if it keeps popping up in my comment section, but just know, you're probably not going to like my response. But as always, I want to hear from you guys. What's your favorite moment in Star Wars? Leave it in the comments. Let me know.
Of what I mean. Take a look at this interview from the other day featuring Leslie Headland, the creator of the new Disney Star Wars show, The Acolyte. Now, I don't want to prejudice you in any way, so I'll just play the clip with no further introduction. This is the showrunner talking about her new show. Watch.
I want to ask you both because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And are you excited about that? Are you
Not
bracing
the gayest
yourself?
Star Wars. Not the.
It's pretty gay, let's be honest. Leslie, how do you feel?
Am I gay? Yes.
Well, no, I know
Yeah.
you are gay, but I'm asking, are you excited about putting this, this is going to be a talking point?
What's really absurd here is that you expect hundreds of thousands upon hundreds of thousand characters within the Star Wars canon to be all straight. You realize how ridiculous that is. So you're assuming that literally every character in existence in the Star Wars universe to be straight. And that's absurd right there because you would think eventually somebody would start experimenting. So what's the problem here exactly?
Is it going to be a talking point?
I'm sure some.
Because nerds are gay.
Well, some nerds are very not gay and are very threatened by gay
Well, that's
stuff.
true. But
Yeah.
in my world, nerds are gay.
Okay. Was this the fun element of?
No, I don't think so. And yet people have told me that it's the gayest Star Wars, and I frankly
You're offended?
into it. No.
I think that Star Wars is so gay already.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the fits? We'd be like, look how gay this is, and then send each other a reference photo.
And are you telling me with a straight face that C-3PO is straight?
They're a couple. That's what I think. But this is more outward.
I think it's canon that R2-D2 is a lesbian.
So don't worry about the story or the plot or the characters. Who has time for that? Instead, just listen to these two women call old Star Wars characters gay and then giggle like schoolgirls. They're excited that this new Star Wars show will be the gayest Star Wars show yet.
Okay, so what? I've seen the show. Saying that's extremely gay is it really isn't. I've seen the show, like we said earlier, folks. Yeah, it is not. It's not the gayest thing ever. It really isn't. It's not. It might have some hints of some stuff, but it's just done to be wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's about it. That's all there is. It's just light, extremely light touches. That's about it. Just throwing them out there.
Which is, in every way, the exact opposite of what the audience actually wants. Nobody has watched the recent Star Wars films and shows and said to themselves, this would be better if only it was even gayer. No one has thought that, except for apparently the people behind this show. Now, the only thing you learn from that interview is that Leslie Headland is gay and has no respect whatsoever for her audience or her own show. This is how Disney is promoting the latest entry to franchise they spent $4 billion to buy a decade ago. And that has a lot of fans wondering how exactly she was chosen for the role of showrunner. If her role is to push some subversive woke ideology, she's not being very subversive about it. She's just angering as many fans as she possibly can, and that's all this is. And she's not the only CEO, the only one doing this. The CEO of Lucasfilm, a woman named Kathleen Kennedy, just came out in defense of her showrunner. Kennedy declared that if you're not a fan of how Leslie Headland is handling herself, then you probably hate women. Quote, I think Leslie has struggled a little bit with it. I think a lot of the women who step into Star Wars struggle with this a bit more because of the fan base being so male-dominant.
You just can't stop lying, can you? So their end goal is not to piss off like literally every Star Wars fan out there. They're not trying to upset every single Star Wars fan. The Star Wars fan base, yes, it is toxic. And yes, they've been complaining about this kind of thing since day one. That is true. But that in itself is not proof for your agenda. If anybody has an agenda, it's you. What are you talking about? All right, then, folks. I'm going to have to split this into more than one part because he goes on and on with this kind of a thing. It's all nonsense, quite obviously. And he tends to repeat himself, just regurgitate the same thing, which, of course, is the same problem I have with a lot of these religious individuals. Acting as if that Disney is having some kind of a hidden secret behind doors of some kind, as if to destroy society as a whole. This entire thing is just fear mongering. That's all this is, really. But okay, I have part 2 up when I have the chance, right? So, until next time, as always, thanks for watching and take care. See ya. Oh yeah. Later.